Hi all and welcome back to One Agile Production. My name is Ash Khan and in this video we're going to be talking about features. So two things I want to talk about today when it comes to features. Number one is how do we build a good feature? And number two, how do we quantify or how do we measure the actual value that the feature has delivered once we deployed it to our customers? So before we jump into the actual feature itself, let's look at the structure. So it starts with the epic. So in this case, we have an epic called reservation management, and an epic will have multiple features associated to it. So for example, we have one feature here called reservation reminders, and then this feature will have multiple user stories associated to it. So there's a structure that showcases epic, feature, user stories. So if you're using tools such as Jira, version 1, and any of these other kind of tools, then again, when you're setting it up, you should be able to set up the structure which clearly showcases what story is associated to what feature is associated to what epic, and so forth. Let us now look at how we can actually build our feature. So it all starts with a problem statement. What problem are we trying to solve? So in this instance, we have a problem where we have customers who are making a reservation, but they're failing to show up. This in turn is having an impact on our business because we are actually losing revenue and potential new customers. So this is the problem that we're trying to solve. But how do we solve this problem? So we have something called a feature hypothesis. This is something which we say, what do we believe we can do to try and solve this actual problem? So in this case, we believe we will be able to minimize our customer forgetfulness and convert missed reservations to fill tables if customers with reservations are reminded of the reservations details via SMS. Basically, what we want to do is be able to send out SMS to all our customers to remind them that they have a booking with us, and if they don't want a booking, they can cancel via the app itself. The next step would be the acceptance criteria. Just like user story has its own acceptance criteria so that we can validate whether or not the story is done. In the same manner, each feature should also have its own acceptance criteria. And in this way, we are able to then validate whether or not this feature is ready to be deployed to its customers. Next will be any external dependencies. If we have any dependencies that we want to highlight, we could also highlight them onto our feature. And that's the same as the non-functional requirements. If there's anything that we want to highlight from a performance perspective, security, or anything like that that relates to non-functional, we can also highlight that onto our feature. Let us now look at the business outcomes, which is basically what value are we trying to deliver? And in this case, it's going to be increased table occupancy by minimizing empty tables. So that is the actual value that this functionality or this feature is aiming to deliver to our customers. Next is the time criticality. How critical is it to get this functionality to our customers? So in this instance, we have Christmas trading, which is 4 months away. And we know that Christmas is going to be a very busy period, particularly for restaurants. So we're aiming to try and get this functionality to our customers as soon as we can. Understanding the time criticality could also help us to prioritize our features. Then we have the risk reduction. What risk are we trying to reduce by implementing this feature? So in this instance, we have regular customers who are growing frustrated with the waitlist because it's not being activated fast enough, and they decided to drop off the list, hence we are losing customers. Lastly, we have the cost of delay. So Don Reinerson states that if you quantify one thing, quantify the cost of delay. Quantifying the cost of delay not only helps improve prioritization, it also helps with making trade-off decisions, creates a sense of urgency, and changes the focus of the conversation. So I will be creating another video where I will show you the different methods which we can use to calculate our cost of delay. We have now seen how we can actually build our feature using this template. So let's look at point number 2 now, which is how do we actually measure the value this feature is actually delivered to our customers? When we deploy this feature to our customers, we want to know if this feature has actually delivered the intended value. And one of the ways which we can do this is by introducing objective and key results, which are also known as OKRs. So if you look at our first objective, which is help customers avoid forgetting their reservation and arrive promptly to maximize seat turnovers. So we want to understand how are we going to achieve this objective. So if you look at the key results itself, now there's a 25% reduction in customers failing to arrive for reservations, meaning that by implementing this functionality of SMS and making a reminder to our customers that they have a booking with us, are we able to reduce this number by 25%? If we now look at the next key result, which is a 25% reduction in customers arriving more than 20 minutes late for their reservation. So again, if we are able to reduce that number by 25%, we know that this objective here has been met. So we understand that the value that was intended has been actually delivered. If we also look at the next objective, which is convert missed reservations to waitlisted or walk-up customers, if we can increase our activated waitlist customers by 50%, or be able to reduce this number by 25%, which is the rejections or walk-up customers, then we also understand that this objective has been met and this feature has actually delivered the intent. Let's now look at a real-life example of a feature. So again, it all starts with the epic. So we have an epic called the Web Application Firewall, and this actual epic will have multiple features associated to it. For this example, we're going to have one feature, which is the WAF dashboard, and this particular feature will then have multiple user stories associated to it, just like we spoke about a few minutes ago. And again, it all starts with the problem statement. What problem are we trying to solve? And in this instance, we're trying to solve a problem where this particular organization isn't able to respond to a security instance quick enough. We then have the feature hypothesis in terms of what do we need to do to try and solve the problem above. In this case, we believe by developing a WAF dashboard, we can enable this organization to identify and respond to potential threats more quicker. We then need to be able to validate this feature by having a clear acceptance criteria to give us the confidence that we are able to release this feature to our customers. Then we have the key subject matter experts. In this case, we have John Smith and Joe Bloggs, who are our WAF engineers, and they're going to be helping us to build this actual dashboard. Then we have our external dependencies. So this actual dashboard needs to be integrated with ServiceNow. This is how we're going to be logging the instance and tracking incidents. So we've highlighted what that external dependency looks like. And also from a non-functional requirements perspective, we have the dashboard load times, response times, and latency. So this is regarding the performance of the dashboard. We then have the business outcomes, which is what business value are we aiming to deliver by implementing this WAF dashboard? Then we have the time criticality. How critical is it for the organization to build this WAF dashboard feature? And then we have the risk reduction. What risk are we trying to reduce by implementing the WAF dashboard feature? And that's going to be reducing the risk of a successful attack on our organization's web applications. And lastly, we have the cost of delay, which will help us to prioritize our features. Let's now look at the objective and key results. So the first objective is to improve the organization's security posture through enhanced monitoring and analysis of security events. So how do we actually measure this objective? So the key result here is to achieve a 50% reduction in the average time taken to detect and respond to security threats. So how long does it currently take to respond to a security threat? And once we've deployed this functionality to our customers, we can then compare the timings and understand how we actually achieved the 50% reduction. The next key result is to reduce the number of successful cyber attacks by 30% within 3 months. So again, we need to go back and understand, once we've deployed this feature to our customers, whether they're internal or external, how we actually reduce that number by 30%. If the answer is yes, then we know that this objective has been reached. If no, then the question is, what can we do to try and achieve those targets? The next objective is to streamline incident management process and resolution process. And the key results for that would be to decrease the average time to resolve security incidents by 40%. So how long does it currently take to resolve a security incident? And once we have that information, and once we deploy this WAF dashboard to our customers, we can go back and ask the question to say, how we actually decrease that number by 40%? How long is it now taking you to resolve your security instance now that we have given you the WAF dashboard? You will find the link to the Miro board in the description below. Please feel free to go ahead and drop your comments and thoughts about this video. I would love to hear what your thoughts are. If you found this video useful, then please do not forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more content like this. Until next time, stay safe.